Good morning, students. Today in this lecture, we will discuss about the histogram techniques. In our previous lectures, we have discussed about the transformation techniques of images. How we can transform or how we can enhance the quality of our signals by using the transformation techniques. So now histogram is also a technique of image enhancement. So in this lecture we will discuss about the histogram techniques. First of all, we have discussed about the types of histogram processing techniques. So in histogram processing techniques, first one is the histogram sliding, histogram stretching, and histogram equalization. So first of all, we will see about the what about the histogram sliding technique. So histogram is nothing but a graph that shows frequency of occurrence of data. Histogram has many use in image processing, out of which we are going to discuss one user, hence which is called histogram sliding. In histogram sliding, we just simplify, shift a complete histogram rightwards or leftwards. So due to shifting of sliding of histogram towards the right or left, a clear change can be seen in the image. In this tutorial, we are so basically when we are using the histogram technique, so we are using the sliding as we are work on the slider. So according to that, we have to shift either right and left directions of our histogram. So here we have to manipulate the brightness. The term brightness has been we have to also discuss in our previous session about the brightness and contrast control. So now what about we have to see in very brief description what about the brightness. So brightness is a relative term. Brightness can be defined as intensity of light emitted by a particular light source. And if we are talking about the contrast, so contrast can be defined as the difference between maximum and minimum pixel intensity in an image. So, sliding histogram. So, increasing brightness using the histogram sliding. Histogram of this image has been shown below. So, that is basically how we can increase the brightness. On the y-axis of this histogram are the frequency or count, and x-axis we have gray level values. So, as we can see from above histogram diagram that those gray level intensities whose count is more than 700 lies in the first half portions and means towards the black part. Okay, so blacker portion, and that's why we got an image that is a bit darker. So in order to bright it, we will slide its histogram towards the right or towards the whiter portion. So in order to we need to add at least a value of 50 to this image. So because we can see from the histogram above that this image has 0 pixel intensity that are pure black. So if we add 0 to 50, we will shift all the values lies at the 0 intensity to the 50 intensity, and all the rest of the values will be shifted accordingly. So first of all, how we can shift? So initially, if our darker part is the 0, so we have to add 50 to all the pixels value. Means we have to rise the brighter level, and then it will shift towards the right side. So here, what we got after adding 50 to each pixel intensity. So the image has shown below. It will be little bit brighter, and its histogram is also shown here. Let's compare these two images and their histogram to see that what changes have to do. These are the old histogram, these are the old image, and now these images are after adding the 50 to the 0. And this is the old histogram and this is the new histogram. So that it will be shifted to the right towards so that it will be little bit more brighter. So now conclusion. So as we can clearly see from the new histogram that all the pixel values has been shifted towards the right and its effect can be seen in the new image. So now what will happens when we decreasing the brightness using histogram sliding? Now if we were to decrease brightness of this new image to such an extent that old image look brighter, we got to subtract some value from all the matrix of the new image. The value which we are going to subtract is 80 because we already add 50 to the original image and we got a new brighter image. Now, if we want to make it darker, we have to subtract at least more than 50 from it because we want to darker image what we have to the original image. So if you want to convert your image into the darker part, you have to subtract more than 50 so that your image will be shifted to the more dark areas. So you can see here at what we got after subtracting 80 from the new image. So now you can see this is the original image. In this original image, we have to subtract 80. So then we will receive this image. So that is a new histogram and this is the original histogram. So in this way we can compare this is a techniques is in which we can control the brightness. So basically if we are talking about the histogram, so histogram is basically a graphical representation, and by adding the, if you want to increase the brightness because gray level, so what about the gray level? So gray level is basically indication of the intensity of our pixels, our signal. So that is basically if you want to enhance the brightness, so you have to add some extra values to your original gray level, then your all image will be moving towards the brightness part because we are adding that particular number to the all pixel values. Okay, and if you want to convert your image into the darker area, so you have to subtract particular value from all the pixel values of your image. So that is the technique. By using this technique we can make our image more brighter or less brighter. So it is clear from the histogram of new image that all the pixel values has been shifted towards the right and thus it can be validated from the image that new image is darker and now the original image look brighter as compared to this new image. Now another method is the histogram stretching. So first one is the histogram sliding and second one is the histogram stretching. So there are two methods of enhancing the contrast. The first one is called histogram stretching and stretching that increase the contrast, and the second one is called as the histogram equalization that enhance the contrast, and it has been discussed in further part. So before we discuss the histogram stretching to increase the contrast, we will briefly define the contrast. What about the contrast? So contrast is the difference between maximum and minimum pixel intensity. So that is a basically original image and that is the histogram diagram of that particular. So now you have to apply. So now we calculate the contrast from this image. So contrast 2 to 5. Okay, so now we will increase the contrast of the image. So at present our contrast is 2 to 5, 225. So now you want to increase your contrast and increasing the contrast of the image. So formula for stretching the histogram of image to increase the contrast is, what about the formula? So that is the formula of fxy. What about the original value minus f min upon f max minus f min into 2 to the power bits per pixel. So that is the basic formula. By using that formula we can enhance our contrast point. So what about the maximum level? What about the minimum contrast, minimum gray level value? So that is a basically you have to take the difference between the maximum gray value and the minimum gray value. So now you can see here the formula requires finding the minimum and maximum pixel intensity multiplied by the level of the gray. In our case, image is 8 bits per pixel. So level of gray are 256 2 to the power 8. The minimum value is 0 and maximum value is 225. So formula in our case is that is. So where fxy denote the value of each pixel intensity for each fxy in an image, we will calculate this formula. And after doing this, we will be able to enhance our contrast. So the following image appear after applying the histogram stretching. So we will only just see the images, what will happens to the image after histogram stretching. But initially this formula fxy denote the particular value of our each pixel, and we have to apply this formula for every pixel, and we can enhance the, yeah, we can get the enhanced output image of that. So you can see here the stretched histogram of this image has been shown below, and note the shape and symmetry of histogram. The histogram is now stretched, or in other means expand. So you can see here that is the expanded form. Initially it will be in compressed form. So you can also see this things we have to in our previous part. So that is in not in the spreaded form, but here it will be in the spreaded form. So that will be the spreaded. So I think it will be clear if we have to spread the contrast histogram diagram of this one. Now before starting the histogram equalizations, we have to know about the probability. So what about the probability? So can further we can move introduction to the probability. So PMF and CDF both terms belongs to probability and statistics. Okay, cumulative distribution function. So now the question arise that why we are studying the probability. So why, what is the basic role of probability? So it is because these two concept of PMF and CDF are going to be used in histogram equalization. So first of all, we know how we can calculate the PMF and CDF, and you can now apply the histogram equalization on your image. So what is the PMF? So PMF stands for probability mass function. So that is a PMF, probability mass function. As its name suggests, it gives the probability of each number in the data set, or you can say that in basically gives the count or frequency of each element. How PMF is calculated? We can calculate the PMF from two different ways. First, matrix, because we can calculate the PMF from a matrix, and an image is nothing more than a two-dimensional matrix. Then we will take another example to calculate the PMF. So first of all, consider the matrix. So here we have to given the 5 into 5 matrix, and now if we were to calculate the PMF of this matrix here, how we are going to do it? So first we will take the first value in the matrix, and then we will count how much time this value appears in the whole matrix. After count, they can either be represented in a histogram or in a table like this given. So you can make, if there is a 0 to 7, this is the serial number, 2 will become. So note that sum of the count must be equal to the total number of values. So if we have given the 25 total, so number of times is 2, 4, 4 by 25, 3 by 25, again 3 by 25. Okay, so we have to calculate that PMF of this matrix here, how we are going to do. So that is the first, we will take the first value in the matrix, and then we will count how much time this value appears in the whole matrix. So after count, they can either be represented in the histogram or in a table. So you have to write like this. 4 will be 4, 4, 4. So then you can write in this way, and then what will happens? You can make this. Okay. So this is the calculation. So note the sum of the count equal to the total number of values. Calculating the PMF from the histogram. Okay, so you have to calculate the above histogram shows the frequency of gray level values for 8 bits per pixel image. So now if we have to calculate this PMF, we will simple look at the count of each bar from vertical axis and then divide it by the total count. So the PMF of the above histogram is this. Another important thing to note in the above histogram is that it is not monotonically increasing. So, in order to increase it monotonically, we will calculate its the CDF. So, we have to calculate the CDF function. So, then first of all, we can see here. So, what about the CDF? CDF stands for cumulative distribution functions, and it is a function that calculates the cumulative sum of the all the values that are calculated by PMF. So basically, we will again draw a diagram. So basically, sum the previous one, how it is calculated. So we will calculate CDF by using a histogram. Here, how it is done. So consider the histogram shown in the PMF. See, this histogram is not increasing monotonically, so we'll make it grow monotonically. We will simply keep the first value as it is, and then in the second value, we will add the first and so on. So here is the CDF of the above PMF function. So that basically we can calculate in this way. So now we can see from the graph above that the first value of PMF is same. After then, second value of PMF is added in the first value and placed over 128. The third value of PMF is added in the second value and that will be equal to 1. So also now the function is growing monotonically, which is necessary condition for the histogram equalization. So we will see what about the PMF and CDMF uses. So what is the PMF and CDF uses in histogram equalization? So histogram equalization is discussed in the next, in the previous session also. A very small parts we have to discuss, but we have to here seen that histogram equalization is used for enhancing the contrast. Okay, so it will working on the contrast while the sliding is working on the brightness. Okay, so that is the factor in which particular properties we are working. So PMF and CDF are both used in histogram equalization. In the histogram equalization, first and second step are PMF and CDF. So since in histogram equalization we have to equalize all the pixel value of an image. So PMF help us calculating the probability of the each pixel value. CDF gives us the cumulative sum of these values, and further on this CDF is multiplied by the levels to find the new pixel intensity, and which are mapped into the old value, and your histogram is equalized. Contrast can be increased using the histogram stretching. Histogram equalization can be used to enhance the contrast. Before performing histogram equalization, we must have to know two important concepts used in equalization. These two concepts are PMF and CDF. They are discussed already. We have to seen in previous slides, so we will see that histogram equalization is used to enhance the contrast, and it is not necessary that contrast will always be increased in this case. So there may be some cases where histogram equalization can be worst. Okay. So in this case, contrast is decreased. So let's start histogram equalization by taking this image below as a simple image. So you can see here, this is the image and this is the histogram of this image. So now we will perform histogram equalization to it. So first we have to calculate the PMF, probability mass function, of all the pixels in this image. If you don't know how to calculate PMF, so basically we have to calculate how many times that pixels will be repeated. Now CDF we have to calculate the cumulative distribution functions. So calculate CDF according to gray level. So you can see here that is the CDF. Up now, next step will we have to multiply the CDF with the gray level minus 1. So considering we have a 3 BPP image, so then the number of gray levels we have are the 8. And 8 minus 1, that is the 7. So we have to multiply all CDF by the 7. And then new gray level will be generated. Now you have to multiply all with a 7. So now these new values have are onto the histogram and you are done. So you can make a diagram. Apply this technique to our original image. After applying, we got the following image and its following histograms. So that is the histogram equalization image. This is the cumulative distribution functions of this image. So this is the comparing the both the histograms and images. So now conclusion. As you know that images that are new image contrast has been enhanced and its histogram also has been equalized. There is also one important thing to be here that during histogram equalization, the overall shape of the histogram changes, whereas in histogram stretching, overall shape of the histogram remains the same. So that is the basically three types of histogram techniques which we have to use for increasing or decreasing the brightness and increasing the contrast. Now we will focus to the concept of convolution. So till what about the convolution? So two important methods to manipulate the images, or in other words, we can say that our black box works in two different ways. Okay. First one is the two different ways of manipulating the image where graph, histogram and transformation functions, as we have to already seen what about the, but we have to little bit revise and some implementation of transformation functions. So there is again a graph. So what about the graph? Histograms. This method is known as a histogram processing, and we have discussed in it detail in previous slides for increase the contrast, image enhancement and brightness. Now transformation functions. So this method is known as the transformations, in which we discuss different types of transformations and some gray level transformations. So this is also a transformation method. So we have to already in study in our previous lectures ki what about the gray level transformations. Another way of dealing the messages. So this is the two methods in which we have to deal. Now there is another method in which we have to enhance the images. So this other method is known as the convolution. Usually, the black box used for image processing is an LTI system or linear time invariant system. And by linear, we mean that such a system where output is always linear, neither log nor exponent or any other. And by time invariant, we means that a system which remains same during time. So that is basically neither in this such a system where output is always linear. So we have to see in our transformation method, our property may be either linear, either log, either exponent, or any other. And by time invariant, we mean that a system which remains same during a time. So now we are going to using the third method, and that is the convolution. So image, we have to done the convolution on that particular image, and we will receive the output image. It can be mathematically represented as two ways, gxy, that is equal to hxy into the fxy. So it can be explained as the mask convolved with an image. So there is a fxy and hxy. So it can be explained as a image convolved with the mask. So sometimes we have to multiply it with a image, and sometimes that will be the convolved with the mask. So there are two ways to represent this because the convolution appears is cumulative and hxy is a mask or a filter. So what about the mask? So mask is also a signal. It can be represented by a two-dimensional matrix. The matrix is usually of 1 into 1, 3 into 3, 5 into 5, and 7 into 7. So a mask should always be in odd numbers because otherwise you cannot find the mid of the mask. So there is always it will be used to odd numbers mask. Why do we need to find the mid of the mask? The answer is that first of all we will see how our convolution work, and then we will describe what is the reason behind the finding out the mid value. So as we have to see in your convolution, in order to perform the convolution on an image, we have to remember the steps. Flip the mask horizontal or vertical only, slide the mask onto the image, multiply the corresponding elements and then add them. Repeat this process until all values of images have been calculated. So just we can see in our diagram. This is an example of convolution. Let's perform some convolution. So take our mask to be this 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Flipping the mask horizontally. So you can see here. Flipping the mask horizontally is 6, 9, 2, 5, 8, and so we have to just shift this to this wise. Now flipping the mask vertically, so you have to row is converted into the upper and upper row is converted into the this. So that is a different types of mask. So that is a mask. So let's consider an image to be like this. So this is an image. Okay. Up now what about the convolution? So convolution mask over image is done in this way. Place the center of the mask at each element of an image and multiply the corresponding elements and then add them and paste the result onto the element of image on which you place the center of the mask. So just we can calculate, just see here. So you can put your mask particular element and you have to multiply these element, and whatever after addition you will got, you have that the center of that particular. So you can see in the red color is the mask and values in the orange are the values of the mask. So you can see here, this is the mask and these orange color values are the values of mask, and this black color frame is, this is called as image. signals, input image. So now for the first pixel of image, the value will be, so black color box and value belong to the image. So first pixel of the image, first pixel, the value will be, first pixel 5 into 2, 4 into 2. You can write here 5 into 2. Okay, this is the, you can write here 5 into 2. So this is the center point. We have to assume it. Just see here, 4 into 4, 2 into 8, and 1 into 10. So that is a 1 into 10, 4 into 4, 5 into 2, and 2 into 8. So this is the, what you have to frame. Even these are your values. Okay. So you have to put your mask on these values. So that is the values 52. So place 52 in the original image at the first index and repeat this procedure for the each pixel of image. So you can write here. So this is the original value. So you have to put the mask in value 1. You have to cover 1, then you have to shift here, then you have to shift here. And what type of overlapping part, then you have to multiply it, then edit it, and then replace that particular value for that particular point. So this is the method of masking. Okay. So convolution method. So you can opt this convolution method for, so place 52 in the original image at the first index and repeat this procedure. So what about the first index? So you can see here, that is the mask. So you can either shift this mark vertically, horizontally. There are the different methods. By using that, you can shift here. So I'm just showing you, just you can see slightly multiplication of these one, and you can receive that data and you can replace that by the value of 2. So you have to replace this value 2 first index. So why convolution? So convolution can achieve something that the previous two methods of manipulating images cannot achieve, and these include the blurring, sharpening, edge detection, and noise reduction. So that is the basically part that is covered by the convolution. So in this case, the contrast of image can be calculated. So contrast, that is equal to 240. Hence we can say that contrast of image is increased. This method of increasing the contrast doesn't work always, but it also fail in some cases. So not it we have to do it that it will always be increased. Okay, so that is the reason through which we can do it. Okay, so there will little bit. So that is a method of convolution which we have to. There is loading problem. So what about the? So before studying, after studying the some part, we have to just want to know what about the filtering or concept of a mask, because we are using a mask in our convolution. So what about the mask and why we are using it? So mask is a filter. So concept of masking is also known as a spatial filtering. So masking is known as filtering. So in this concept, we just deal with the filtering operations that is performed directly on the image. So we have to see about the what type of filtering methods we have to opt. So there is a simple mask you can see here. So what about the filtering? So process of filtering is also known as convolving a mask with an image. So as this process is same of convolution, so filter masks are also known as the convolution mask. So that is basically here. So how it is done? The general process of filtering and applying the mask is consists of moving the filter mask from point to point in an image. At each point of the original image, the response of a filter is calculated by pure defined relationship. So all the filter values are predefined and are a standard. Now we have to focusing on the types of filters. So generally there are two types of filters. One is called as a linear filter or smoothing filters, and others are called as a frequency domain filter. So why filters are used? So filters are applied on the image for multiple purpose. The two most common uses are here. So why we are using the filter of masking? So this is the question arises here. So filter are used for blurring and noise reduction, and filter are used for edge detection and the sharpness. So this is the two reasons for which we are using the filter. So what about the blurring and noise reduction? So filter are most commonly used for blurring and for noise reduction. Blurring is used in pre-processing state, such as removal of small details from an image prior to large object extraction. So that is basically blurring and noise reduction. We are using the filters. Blurring is used in pre-processing state, such as removal of a small details from an image prior to large object extraction. So mask for blurring. So there are two types of mask. We have to using box filter and weighted average filter. So in the process of blurring, we reduce the edge content in an image and try to make the transitions between different pixel intensity as smooth as possible. Noise reduction is also possible with the help of blurring. So edge detection and sharpness. So mask or filters can also be used for edge detection in an image and to increase the sharpness of an image. So first of all, we will discuss about the key. Okay, we have to work out on the edge detection in image and increase the sharpness of an image. So what are the edges? So we can also say that sudden changes of discontinuities in an image are called as a edges. Significant transitions in an image are called as edges. A picture with edges is shown below. So that is the basically original picture and same picture with the edges. So there is a edges problem in our. So what about the concept of blurring? In blurring, be simple, blur an image. An image looks more sharp or more detailed if we are able to perceive all the objects and all sharp correctly in it. So, for example, an image with a face looks clear when we are able to identify eyes, ears, nose, lips, foreheads, and every clear. So, this shape of object is due to its edges. So, you have to just find out the edges of an image. So, in blurring, we simple reduce the edge content and makes the transition from one color to the other very smooth. So there is a blurring versus zooming. So you might have seen a blurred image when you zoom an image. So when you zoom an image using pixel replications and zooming factor is increased and you saw a blurred image. So this image also has less detail because less details, but it is not true blurring, because in zooming you add new pixels to add an image and that increase the overall number of pixels in an image, whereas in blurring the number of pixels of a normal image and a blurred image remains the same. So there is a not actually blurring is a zooming, but that is basically presentation is little bit the same. So now we will discuss about the types of filters. So common example of the blurred image. So you can see in this image that image is very blurred. So blurring can be achieved by many ways. The common type of filters that are used to perform blurrings are, so there are a blurring image, and so there are the filters: mean filter, weighted average filter, and the Gaussian filter. So what about the mean filter? So mean filter is also known as the box filter and average filter. And mean filter has the following properties. It must be odd ordered. The sum of all the elements should be 1 and all the elements should be same. So that is the basic conditions of our mean filter. So you can see in here, if we follow this rule, then the mask is 3 into 3, and these are the results. All values are equal and equal to 1. So the sum should be equal to 1 and can be achieved by dividing each value by 9. So that is also the equal value. So that is the basic property of our mean filter. Result of a mask of 3 into 3 and image. So that is the original. So maybe the result are not much clear. Let's increase the blurring. The blurring can be increased by increasing the size of the mask. The more is the size of the mask, the more is the blurring. So because with greater mask, greater number of pixels are scattered and one smooth transition is defined. Now there is a result of mask of 5 into 5. So there is a image is much more improvement with respect to previous. So you can also use the 5 into 5 image. Now another filter is the weighted average filter. The weighted average filter, we give more weight to the center value, due to which contribution of center becomes more than the rest of the value. So due to average filter, we can actually control the blurring. Properties of the weighted average filter are: it must be odd numbers, sum of all the elements should be 1, and weight of center element should be more than all the other elements. So it is a basic feature. So center element weightage is more than the other element. So the two properties are satisfied, which are 1 and 3, but property 2 is not satisfied. So in order to satisfy that, we will simple divide the whole filter by the 10. So that is the basically value of, multiply it by 1 by 10. So that's all the type of filter which we have to use. That is the box filter. So now we will little bit move to the some objective questions. At what points a continuous image is digitalized? Next one is the, which of the following correctly describes the slightest visible change in the level of intensity? So when which correctly describe which word is correctly describes the visible change in the level of intensity? What is the name of tool that helps in zooming, shrinking, rotating? So you can also know about the tools. The dynamic range of the imaging system is a quantitative relation where upper limit can be determined by the brightness, contrast, saturation. So you have to properly read out our last topics. Which of the following is the most famous single sensor utilized for image acquisition? So photodiode, CMOS, microdensitometer, and none of the above. So that you have to know about the single sensor utilized for the image acquisition. What is mean by the section of the real plane that image coordinates have spanned? So you have to see it. Which of the, name the procedure in which individual pixel value of digital image get altered? how to carry out an array function together with one or more images. So that will be the either pixel by pixel, column by column. So you have to know about it. What is the output of a smoothing linear spatial filters? So that is a objective that we have to take the average value, so you have to know about it properly. So I think today in this lecture we will discuss about the techniques of histogram, and the another technique, that is the convolution, that we have to also use for reduction of noise, and that convolution technique is based on the mask. So what about the mask and how our mask will work out? So we have to see in this chapter how our mask is working. So that's all. I think it will be clear to you. In our next session, we will discuss about the frequency domain filtering. So what about the frequency domain filtering and how it will work out? Okay, thank you.